Viernes, and this is our Learning Medical Spanish Facebook group live feed. So welcome. A couple things. So last week, I have to give you an apology. I did not even communicate at all with you about last week. Turns out that I took my youngest hunting again, and yeah, at some point I'll stop talking about hunting, but since it's archery season, I just have to talk about it. I was talking with some clients who live up in the mountains, and they were telling me about how they couldn't even sleep at night. The elk were so active. They were just bugling, and it was so loud, and they were so active, and that it just must be a ton of elk around. So anyway, I got anxious and convinced mi esposa, Leslie, to let me take Eliana out of school on Friday. So we ditched all responsibilities, left after school on Thursday and headed up to the mountains. So I thought I'd show you a couple pics. No elk, which means I'll be going again. But anyway, if you've ever met Eliana, she probably seemed kind of shy to you, but she is a dancing machine. And so here we are headed up I-70 and rocking out to Kids Bop. Of all things, actually one of my favorite stations. It's really fun music, so it's my favorite XM station. So there we are headed up the mountains, and we got there late Thursday night, so no hunting hours were already passed. We set up camp kind of in the dark and then just went to bed. But here we are, first morning, set up in a meadow, beautiful, but super cold. And so we've got many layers on, and Eliana, poor thing, she's a first grader. I was cold, and she had, oh man, we had hand warmers stuffed in the bottom of her boots and stuffed around her belly so she'd stay warm, but of course in her hands, and it was a bit of a struggle, a little chilly in the mornings. But in this meadow, we saw some great stuff. We saw fox, we saw two huge moose, that were one bull moose and one cow moose, and we had a lot of fun here, but we didn't see any elk that we could take. Eliana, this is the first time she actually got really good at whittling, and she is a master whittler now. So here she is. That's what she did most of the time, whittling while we were out. And so since that meadow wasn't producing anything, we decided we'd go check something else out, and we took a little drive and ended up in a little aspen grove. I mean, this is just beautiful. You could never see an elk ever and still have a great time. So here we are in our aspen grove, set up, doing some calls and waiting for something, but nothing. And here's Ellie again, another stick, and her little hunting knife there whittling away. So we had a great weekend. This was the only elk we saw all weekend, and it wasn't the big bull elk I was hoping for, so decided just to bring her back home anyway. And it's early mornings, very early mornings. I mean, you hunt until dark, you hike back to camp in the dark, and then you get up at like 4:30 in the morning. And so here's Eliana toward the end of our weekend. She's just crashed out, sleeping, her neck like this as we bob down dirt roads. But anyway, so thanks for indulging me. At some point I'll stop talking hunting, but probably not until the season's over. Yeah. Well, a note, while we're on the same topic, a quick note about next Friday. My wife has got this girls' weekend planned, and so I've got to get the kids out of the house. And my kids, my older two, actually have this short day on Thursday. It's like a half day, and then they don't have school at all on Friday. And so you can guess what we're going to be doing Wednesday after school. So I'll be bailing Wednesday, taking the kids up to the mountains, and we'll probably be making so much noise with 3 children and just me hunting that we won't see anything, but we'll have a good weekend anyway. So next Friday I won't be doing our video Viernes lesson, but the following we'll pick back up. And then pretty soon in mid-October, actually it'll probably be the following week, I've got this rotation. It's a local immersion rotation that I teach with the School of Medicine, and that's a 9 to noon class in about an hour away from where I am day to day. And so these Video Viernes lessons will start throughout the second half of this month and into October. It will be later in the afternoons on Fridays. All right, bien. So here we are, is Video Viernes, and today we're talking complementos directos. Complementos directos. The other day in class, a student asked, Rory, what is a complemento directo? And my first response was, dolor de cabeza. Complemento directo es un dolor de cabeza, because they're kind of hard to wrap your head around a little bit. But these are direct objects. And direct objects, when you think of English, we have direct objects, of course, and it's whenever you are doing something to something else, or a verb is acting onto an object. And so when you think of like the what of a verb, and you say speak, and you ask what, well, you speak a language. Or if you say what, then that's the message that you said. Or if you meet what, even if that's a person, it's still an object. It's the me's and the you's and the hims and hers. And like him and her and me, those aren't subjects, right? Those are objects. Those are things that receive the action of a verb. So that's what we're talking about today in Español. Let me give you some examples. Let's say we're talking about los antihistamínicos. Los antihistamínicos. Los antihistamínicos. Medicina para alergias, right? Alergias. So es medicina antihistamínicos para alergias. Yo los tomo. Vamos a ver. Yo los tomo cuando tengo alergias. ¿Ok? Yo los tomo cuando tengo alergias. Los referring to antihistamínicos. Mi cuñado no los toma. Mi cuñado no los toma. Él no los toma. Él prefiere no tomarlos porque prefiere remedios alternativos. ¿Ok? Él prefiere no tomarlos porque prefiere remedios alternativos. Y su remedio alternativo es vinagre de manzana. Vinagre de manzana, un poquito con un vaso de agua, y él toma vinagre con agua todos los días. A mí no me gusta, pero está bien. Él prefiere no tomarlos. Yo los tomo. Mi cuñado no los toma. Bien, so we've got los coming before the verbo sometimes, and then los being attached at the end of the verbo sometimes. But every time los refers to what we're talking about, our context. Los antihistamínicos. Let's take a look at another one. Otro ejemplo. Un momento. Bien, ahora, este ejemplo es la paciente. La paciente is what we're talking about now. We're talking about la paciente, and let's see, la enfermera, the nurse, la pesó. La enfermera la pesó. The nurse weighed her, ¿verdad? La referring to la paciente. Los antihistamínicos was masculine and it was plural. So our complemento directo, our pronombre, our pronoun for the direct object, was los. But now we've got femenina and singular. And so it's la pesó. Okay, bien. So la enfermera la pesó y la asociada médica la examinó. La asociada médica la examinó. La enfermera la pesó. The nurse weighed her. La asociada médica. ¿Quién es la asociada médica? This is kind of a tough one, but la asociada médica la examinó. Examined her. ¿Verdad? Okay, perfecto. So these are the hims and hers and its in Espanol, right? When you want to say it or him or her, when a verb is doing something to someone else, you're going to use him, her, you. It could be me, could be it, or them, or us as well. Those are all complementos directos. And so let's figure out what they are, what the pronombres are in Espanol. So we've got me, if it's me, ¿verdad? We've got te, if it's you and it's informal, ¿verdad? Not with your adult patients. Then we've got lo and la that relate to él, ella, and usted, right? And so we've got lo for either it, lo and la for it, or it could be usted, or it could be him, or it could be her. Third person singular if you want to think in nerdy grammar, okay? And then we have nos, which is us. Nos is us, and so let's say they give. No, gives a bad example. The doctors examine us. They examine us, right? That's a complemento directo. Y después tenemos los and las, which would be the them, or the plural it, right? And then you all, también, okay? The nurse weighs you all, los pesa. Or it's also los for like los antihistamínicos, right? Or las could be las medicinas, ¿verdad? Okay, exacto. So aquí tenemos me, which is me, te, which is you, Lola could be him, her, it, or you, if it's usted, right? And then nos is us, and then los and las could be them, which would be either ellos or ellas, right? It could be it, plural, which also is like them, right? And then it could be y'all, ¿verdad? Okay, like you guys, perfecto. But these are not subjects. These are things that receive the action of the verb, not that do the action of the verb, right? Okay, so vamos a ver, we had a couple ejemplos of placement. So we saw sometimes that los for antihistamínicos came before the verb, and then it came after the verb sometimes. All right, so let's keep talking about antihistamínicos. Yo los tomo. See? Yo los tomo before the verb. Mi cuñado cuñado es el hermano, brother, de esposa or esposo, ¿verdad? So brother-in-law. Mi cuñado no quiere tomar los. So now here it's after the verbo, okay? And yo veo a mi cuñado sufrir de alergias. Y yo le digo, tómelos, cuñado, tómelos. Yo le digo, tómelos. And él dice, no, yo uso mi vinagre. estoy bien. Y yo digo, bueno, no los tome pues. No los tome pues. All right, bien. With these examples here, we see all the different instances of placement with the direct object pronoun. So en general, almost all the time, you are going to have a situation like this, where you've got just a regular conjugated verb and the complemento directo is going to go before it, ¿verdad? So usually it goes before the verb. Yo los tomo. But there's two instances in which it's attached at the end of the verb that you're using in your frase. So here's one. Mi cuñado no quiere tomarlos. Now, what's going on there? El verbo es infinitivo. So it's an infinitive verb. It's not conjugated. Because this one is, right? Mi cuñado no quiere tomarlos. And so when you don't have a conjugated verb, or when your verb isn't conjugated, then it gets attached at the end. But there's another example here where it's attached at the end. Aquí. Tómelos, that's a command. But it's not just any command, it's an affirmative command. So, in affirmative commands, it gets attached at the end. When the verb is not conjugated, it gets attached at the end. All other instances, even negative commands, no los tome pues, even negative commands, it comes before el verbo. So that's placement. Sometimes that gets tricky. I told you complementos directos are dolor de cabeza, right? Let's look at a couple more examples and you can give it a shot, okay? So vamos a ver. So we've got me, te, lola, nos, los, and las. And then our placement, usually before the verb, but attached at the end in two cases, infinitive verbs, positive commands. All right. Unos ejemplos. Da una inyección al paciente. Juan da una inyección al paciente. Let's start here. First of all, identify the direct object. What's the verb? The verb is da, right? So that's our verb. Our verb is da. What's being given? What's the what of the verb? Well, it's una inyección. All right. So how do we say this sentence? Let's say we already know we're talking about an injection. And what we want to say is, we want to say Juan gives it to the patient. Or Juan gave it to the patient, whatever fits your context. How do we do it? Well, we first have to select what our proper pronoun is going to be to substitute for una inyección. What will it be? Will it be me, te, lo, la, nos, los, or las? It's singular and plural, so it's going to be la, ¿verdad? And so now, if we want to say that, let's just make it a little more practical, a little more everyday. Past tense. Juan dio, ¿verdad? All right. So Juan dio una inyección al paciente. He gave. It'd be kind of weird to use it present tense. Okay. So how would you say the sentence? He gave it to the patient. Juan la dio al paciente. Juan la dio, Juan gave it al paciente. Juan gave it to the patient. Let's try another one. La obstetra pasó al bebé a su mamá. Okay, the obstetrician passed the baby to his mom. What do we have? what is the direct object of this verb? Is it mom or baby? What's the what of the verb? Well, first of all, the verb is pasó, passed, right? And so what's the what? What got passed? El bebé. Entonces, now, al bebé, bebé is one of those where you're not 100% sure if it's going to be masculine or feminine, but we've got al here, which we know is a plus l, and so that's masculine. So la obstetra pasó essentially el bebé a su mamá. So it's singular and it's masculine, and so what is our pronombre? Lo. Entonces, how would we say the obstetrician passed it, or him, to his mom? Passed him to his mom. It sounds better. Okay. Think about it. It's going to follow this pattern. La obstetra lo pasó a su mamá. Okay. The obstetrician passed him to his mom. All right. A couple more examples. Mi esposa. Okay, we were talking about mi cuñado a while ago. Now we'll talk about mi esposa. Mi esposa, that's probably hard to see. We're going to shift to red here. Mi esposa conoció a mí el 16 de agosto 1998. Okay? Mi esposa conoció a mí en el 16 de agosto 1998. Okay. ¿Cuál es el complemento directo aquí? El complemento directo, ¿cuál es? What's the verbo? Conoció. Met, ¿verdad? And so what did my wife meet? A mí. Okay, so aquí está el complemento directo. Now, which will be the pronoun for a mí when we substitute? Me. Okay, so mi esposa, let's try this blue. Me conoció el 16 de agosto 1998. Okay, bien. So there we go. And un ejemplo más. Yo quiero conocer a ti. Now what? Our verbo, conocer, well, we actually have two verbals, right? But when we have two verbs together, we're going to think of them as like one verb unit, okay? A one verb unit. So we've got an unconjugated verb here, but we have a conjugated verb here. Which means we could put the ati, which is our direct object, in two different placements. We get to choose because we have both options. We have an infinitive and we have a conjugated. So we could do it two ways. Let's start with using the infinitive. Ati is going to be te, right? Yo quiero conocerte, right? Yo quiero conocerte. But since quiero and conocer is our verb unit, we think of it as like one solid unit that can't be broken up, we could also put this te before the conjugated verb, which would be yo te quiero conocer. Okay? Either one works. Bien. All right. La próxima, that's all we've got for today. These are complementos directos. Our options are me, te, lo, la, nos, los, and las. These are the what of the verb. They're objects of the verb. They cannot be subjects. I will tell you that every time I teach this in a class, the next week or the following, I start to hear sentences like, lo es muy grande, or something like that, in which, because we have lo as a subject in English, we think it can be a subject in Spanish, but it can't, okay? So we can't say it is muy grande using lo. In fact, if you want to say that, just forget about the lo, and we just say es muy grande, and it's all built in there, because es is our verb, ¿verdad? So lo cannot be a subject, it's only the object, ¿verdad? Okay, a couple things. Our next video viernes that I'm here for, we're going to do complementos indirectos, okay, the other kind. The a su mamás and gives an injection to the patient, that to the patient. Those are the indirect objects, like the to whom or the for whom that you're doing the action. So we'll do that next time. But I'm also going to post a little survey in our group here, and I would like to hear from you what you want to be learning in this video viernes sort of series that we do. So we could look at things like vocabulary type sets, and I would love to know what those are that you'd like to focus on. We could look at other things like cultural realities and things of working with Spanish-speaking patients, or we could continue with other grammar stuff. So I don't know what it is you want, and so I'm going to put up a little survey and ask you for your feedback, and then hopefully I can deliver exactly what you're looking for here in this group. Well, muy buen viernes. Have a muy buen fin de semana. Nos vemos en 15 días. Hasta luego.